All right, everyone, here are a bunch of things to go practice on your motorcycle the next time you're going for a ride. So don't just make it one turn, make it like a stretch, at least like 10 miles of turns, right? On a road you know pretty well. So just go all the way down or down and back, whatever it is, no brakes. Still have your fingers up there ready just in case something happens, of course, but just practice on your timing and your judgment. When do I have to roll off the throttle to slow myself down enough for my comfort for this coming up corner, right? It's a good exercise to do. So try that out. That's number one. Number two, go back and forth on the road again, rear brake only. A lot of times I do one-on-one quartering sessions with people and I suggest to them, hey, go back and forth on this road we just did, rear brake only. And they're like, rear brake? I never use the rear brake when I'm going out in the twisties. Well, why not? Try it out. How much will it slow me down? Will it work? Will it not work? I don't know. Why don't you go experiment with it, right? So it's not as powerful as the front, of course, but it does slow you down. So maybe at a certain pace, maybe just a little bit of rear brake is enough to slow you down for your comfort. So go try it out. Rear brake only, going down and back or down, whatever it is. Number three, of course, would then be front brake only. Even if it's just 1%, just practice using that front brake. If you roll off the throttle at all, also get a little bit of brake pressure, even if it's just 1%, just to practice rolling off, getting your fingers up there, applying a little bit of brake, and then slowing down off the brakes and go through the corner. Just practice using the front brake for every turn whenever you need to slow down. Also just touch that front brake lever just to get used to doing that. Number four is practicing using both brakes down and back. So maybe you start with the front, and then as you tip it in, and then maybe you transition, you ease off the front brake, and then maybe you transition to a little bit of rear as you're going through the middle of the turn, right? Or just practice using both at the exact same time. But how do you know how something feels or what it's gonna do or the behavior of the bike, the effect it's gonna create if you don't actually go practice these things, right? So then practice both brakes. It may not be a lot of pressure, right? You're not just holding the brake down, that doesn't make any sense. But just get used to the movement. Just get the muscle memory going of like getting your foot moving, getting your fingers up there. And even if it's just 1% brake pressure, just get used to the movement, get used to using the brakes. Of course, the quicker you go, the more brakes you need. So there you go. Number five, practice doing perfect line selection. Just try to make as straight line as possible. So if this is the middle of the corner, the idea for line selection is I want to open up the radius before the corner, so you start on the outside, but then mid-corner to exit, I also want to open up the radius by going back out to the outside on the exit of the corner, because my whole goal is try to make a straight line as much as possible. So go down and back on your favorite road, perfect line selection, right? And then the next one is go down and back, no line selection whatsoever. Just stay dead center in the middle of the road and go down and back, and then see how that is. Next thing to practice. So this one is about countersteering. Do you know countersteering or do you not know countersteering? And this will tell. If this gives you any bit of anxiety, you don't know countersteering enough. So take off on your favorite road again, you already know pretty well, and you're going at an easy pace. Once you get up into third and fourth gear, depending on your bike, take your left hand off and put it on the gas tank and ride all 10 miles one-handed. If you're thinking, well, how am I supposed to turn? How do you go left? Well, you push left to go left. Well, if your left hand is on the gas tank, you can't push on the left handlebar. So how are you supposed to go left? Well, obviously pull right. Handlebars are connected. Pushing left is identical to pulling right. So now with your right hand, you're doing everything, three birds with one stone, essentially. You're steering, using the throttle, and using the brakes if you need to. So three things all with the right hand. But if you could ride one-handed, that means you actually understand countersteering. Most people, when I even suggest that to them, they're like, oh my God, there's no way. They don't understand countersteering enough. If you could ride one-handed comfortably in the twisties, you actually know how to countersteer. Next thing, go practice is body position, perfect body position, right? So you're coming up to the corner, as you tip it in, right? You get your body off to the inside. As you come out of the corner, the bike is priority. You take away the lean angle, right? Your head drops on the exit, like they say at champ school. Just practice the timing, how much you move your body, how fast you move it depends on how fast you want the bike to start to lean. Just practice perfect body position, down and back. And then go down and back again, no body position. So stay loose with your arms, but otherwise stay dead center, 100% middle of the bike, and just stay. You can move your head as much as you want to, but no body position to see what that feels like. So if you notice, I introduce a tool, a technique, body position, brakes, one-handed, whatever, but then you also got to practice taking away the tool and just seeing what's essential. Because a lot of times when I tell people to take off their hand or no more line selection, practice doing that, it's like a little baby without their blankie. Like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do without my precious line selection? I don't know how to ride anymore. That's where you know your limitation is at, because you're too dependent on it. You see what I'm saying? The next one is every single blind corner, have your brake light on until you can see the exit, that it's clear. There's no deer, there's no car spun out, there's no tree falling, there's no person walking across the street or a bicyclist or someone doing a U-turn in front of you. Every single blind turn, have your brake light on until you see the exit. Once you know it's clear, release the brake light. And I don't mean 20%, obviously, just enough to get the brake light to come on. What is that, 1%? Just have the brake light on until you can actually see the exit. When you know it's clear, then release it. So you know what I'm about to say, right? So do that down and back, front brake only. Then do the same thing, brake light on until you see the exit, rear brake only. And that's just something to practice no matter what, not just for this little experiment down and back. Like right now, every time I go riding around, if I'm going through a blind corner, you better believe my fingers are up there on the brake. I may not be using it. It all depends on the pace that I'm going, if I need to brake or not. But every single blind corner, you cannot pay me no amount of money to have my hand completely wrapped around the throttle. And here's the brake lever going into a corner, a blind corner, with my hand around the throttle like this. You better believe every single time I go through any blind corner, no matter what speed I'm going, my fingers are up there on that brake lever just in case there's something around that corner I'm not expecting. I have no time delay. My reaction time is instantaneous. I can just increase that brake pressure and slow that damn bike down. I don't want this to happen. Then you freak out, then you grab it, bad things happen very quickly. So every single blind corner you ever go through forever, please have your fingers up there on the brake lever. You want to reduce that reaction time to almost zero, right? That's something to practice.